What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We out here with some more Suicide Boys. This time we're checking out Matte Black from their new album. Now, before you ask, I'm not too sure if I'm going to do a full album reaction. That currently takes more time than I have to record. However, I think we will make our way through this piece by piece. Now, fair warning, my Suicide Boy reactions are very commentary heavy. So if you come to just watch me nod and say nothing, this is not that type of reaction. I highly recommend you go watch the original first. Anyways, let's go ahead, shut up and turn it up. There's that classic Suicide Boys bounce.
Fucking that bitch in a yoga stand, swinging that K with an open stand, slow to smoking that OPM.
Okay. See, right now, already messing it out. Now, I got the Glock in my yoga pants, right? So we obviously know what he's referring to when he says Glock, right? But another thing, right? If we were to take this and look at it in another way, right? I got the Glock in my yoga pants, right? We kind of think about yoga pants, think about why you would wear yoga pants is to feel relaxed, right? So yoga pants, relaxation. I got the Glock. Maybe it's another saying of saying that I feel comfortable when I have the Glock on me. Okay, maybe. Sometimes some of the stuff that I might say may be reaching, but these are just things that's going on in my head. May or may not agree. But that last sentence right there in the effing the chick in the yoga stance is what kind of gives leeway to the second, right? Ends justify the means. So we can quickly discern what he means when he says I got the Glock in his yoga pants. Swinging the K, so yeah, but you guys get it, yeah. In an open stance, swinging a gun, but also swinging, yeah. Okay, with an open stance, slow to smoking that OPM, staying a little in the closing in. All of my walls they closing in. 5150, they trying to come get me, Jamal and my business and mosey in. 5150, they trying to come get me. Well, I love the cadence and everything. Staying little boy in the closing in, we all know. Stain, as in, you know, wet them up and whatnot. All of my walls they closing in. 5150, they trying to come get me, Jamal and my business and mosey in. Moseying around.
The back set next on my lap debate. Should I relax? But back to the hoe I was talking about. I just want to put it up in, I'm out. Pick it up in my blood. What's up, good? Stuck in that dirty side. Letters, 2 numbers, bitch. Grade 593.
Grade 59, okay. That's the grade 59. That's your label, right? You guys were telling me that.
Dirty side. Letters, 2 numbers, bitch. Grade 593. Fingers in the air, main bitch by my side. So keep pull up in a quarter million soda. Build out a young Jesus with them 40 was a walkie driver water.
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. What he said, 3 fingers in the air.
3
fingers in the air, main chick by my side. I'm sitting there thinking of another reason why he would use 3 fingers, right? I don't know why my mind's going like super dirty or something. I don't know. Maybe just something in the water today. Okay.
Anytime, any place, any hood, any state, good till it fucking make woods to the fucking face. Riding with my baby sage, lines on expensive plates, tears on my diamond chain, slow it, never looking fake.
Okay, nice. Riding with my baby sage. So riding with the, I'm guessing that's the weed or the marijuana, right? I've never heard it be referred to as baby sage though, but sage I know is generally an incense or an ingredient that's used for purification or something like that, right? But in this sense, he decided to call it baby sage because maybe that provides him his purification. Now, lines on expensive plates, we all know. You know, coke.
Plates, tears on my diamond chains.
Diamonds, tears, diamond chains, okay?
When I'm spitting game, show me how that pussy shave. Dosage comment with my shame. Mama crying for my pain.
It's interesting. Dosage, crying with my shame. Use the dosage to, of course, escape. And then as you start building more tolerance and realizing that your problems isn't really necessarily dissolving because of the usage, then you got no choice but to up it, right? Because you don't want to feel what you're trying to escape.
Show me how that pussy shave. Dosage comment with my shame. Mama crying for my pain. Will they ever understand? Can I even love my dad? Money fucking on my fam. Giving them to this nothing like.
Ooh, that's interesting. Can I even hold on?
Mama crying for my pain.
until there's nothing left. The money's effing up. See, we didn't understand. So the way I can kind of look at this, right? Because he's saying that his family. It's interesting. Will they ever understand? Like, maybe it's like, will they understand, you know, how some artists can communicate and everything, their feelings through their music, right? They're plainly trying to say something. But it looks like he's taking care of his family with the money, but almost kind of ignoring everything that he's trying to say in the music. He'd be like, yeah, that's a banger, but where's the money? You know what I mean? And some people have family members like that, where you give them the money and everything, and it become different type of people. You know, they come used to that type of money. So in the event that you out here really struggling to try to make it, it's kind of like the money is a byproduct of almost like an afterthought, right? Can you imagine? That's what happens when you do what you love. The money and all the fame and everything that comes from doing what you love is always kind of like that after. It's like a bonus, if you will, because you would be doing it regardless if you can get money or not, right? So you start funneling that money over to your family and everything, but really you out here really suffering. Then it's got to make you think like, yo, are y'all really listening to what I have to say, or all you care about is the money? So that's what I think he means when he says the money's effing up his fam.
Can I even help my dad? Money fucking on my fam, giving them to this nothing.
Now, I don't know. He said, can I even help my dad? I don't know if, just because this is a backstory, it's stuff that I don't understand yet. Can I even help my dad money? So I don't know, maybe the money is messing up him or something, or maybe his dad is sick or something like that.
Chopper stay in me, don't need no hands. Prefer to be lonely, don't need no friends. Hope we get fucking, I don't get fans. I'm with my cousin and talking plans. Went to my hood and I got some lame. Done with the money like me and my crash. Two stepping out her.
Bro, they do be blowing through some money, man. We still don't know to this day where our taxes go. Or at least I don't know.
Went to my hood and I got some lame. Done with the money like me.
They going somewhere. Two-step.
I'm 31, still don't know how to take care of myself. Honestly,
sadly, that is relatable. It's interesting because I'm 31 as well. So I actually didn't know what both their ages were. I don't know how close they are, but I'm 31. But that's interesting, right? It's like one of them things where as you start growing up, you would think that you'd have it all figured out by the age of 30. But he doesn't have it figured out. I think that was what's so prominent about him including that in here, because it is somewhat relatable. Some of us have waited too long to try to do something with ourselves. Now, 30s is still young. There's still time to actually do something and everything. But the fact that he included it means that it's a problem, right? You in your 30s. All right, what we're going to do now. I don't necessarily agree, because obviously he's built this following, right? And he's 31. I think he's doing pretty successful. But again, it kind of goes back to what I said before, where this is more of something that he enjoys doing, but it's not necessarily solving any type of internal issues, right? Don't feel like you making progress, because to us lowly commoners, we see artists and everything building like this massive success and everything. But we're only seeing the byproducts, right? Unless the artist comes out and tells us specifically what's going on, all we have to go is what they show us, right? So to us, it feels like they have everything going on, but to them, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm just making music.
Because I was dealt. I'm 31, still don't know how to take care of myself. Honestly, I'm scared that I might melt. Leave behind a bunch of black spots on a white belt. Maybe in the next life I'll come back as a nice pet.
That's interesting. Black spots on a white pelt, right? So further insinuating that the material things, right? Because why include right on a white pelt? How many of us own some white pelt? I feel like that's like super expensive, right? So leave behind a bunch of black spots on a white pelt. That's a shame. That is, if you was to ruin some white pelt. So it's just a kind of a comparison as how much of a shame it is. Imagine you buying some really expensive skin and fur and everything, and you get something on it, you'd be like, oh my goodness, it's ruined and everything. So the gravity behind the things that he's saying, kind of like those undertones, is interesting. And this is why I like Suicideboyz.
Black spots on a white belt. Maybe in the next life I'll come back as a nice belt. I don't know, there's a fine line between me and you. The biggest difference is I snort that shit that probably puke. Dodging juke on the bullshit that try and pull me through.
Okay, the biggest difference is I'll snort that and probably puke. So it's one of the things where, you know, if I'm reading in between this, is that some people will kind of snort it and hope that they do not puke. But this is one of the things where he's going forward with the actions and is okay with the consequence, right? Because fear, right? Fear and common sense stops us from doing a whole lot of things, right? Because we fear and we don't want the consequences. He's basically saying that the difference between me is that I know the consequences, but I'm going to do it anyways.
I smoke that shit that probably puke. Dodging juke off the bullshit that try to pull me through, but I'm still shining. Baby girl, wildin', catch me riding by with that look in my eyes. Mom, stuck I swear about the way I'm gripping my nine. Yeah, I'm always on my toes, but I'm still the same. Standing tall over my grave.
Okay.
Make sure it's filled with all the people we supposedly see. Make sure you
Standing tall over his grave. In his grave, he wants to make sure it's filled with all the people that we supposedly saved. Ooh, that hit hard. Make sure your grave, the grave that's meant for you, is filled with all the people. So the people that you threw away, the people that you necessarily stepped on, right? The people who are supposed to be in the situation that you are. Or maybe the people who have come to you for help and you've helped them in a roundabout way that is beneficial to you, right? So you pretty much just kind of threw them away, threw them in the grave. But the intro said, make sure it's filled with all the people that we supposedly, that's a strong word right there, supposedly saved. I didn't say I was going to save you. You came with that notion, but now you, that's what I'm getting from that.
Make sure you throw the blacks in and all the money we made. I can't put them on my wall. That shit just ain't my taste. It ain't my taste. It ain't my taste.
Okay, so that gives me a little bit more context, right? Make sure you throw the plaques and all the money we made. See, that's what I'm saying. I was saying that at the beginning to where this is just something that they enjoy making. Right, I'm still sitting on that hill right there, and all the money we made, and all that stuff, and everything that they gained, and everything they can do without it. Right, they enjoy what they make.
Throw the blacks in and all the money we made. I can't put them on my wall. That shit just ain't my taste. It ain't my taste. It ain't my taste. Shawty wanna marry me? I said you better off in debt. If it didn't work out, baby, I'll be real hard to forget.
Just like debt, you take out a big old loan, you can't just push it aside. That's interesting. You're better off in debt. You know, love really do be like that too. When you be dating, that stuff be kind of crushing you. But he's saying, I mean, I don't know if you guys watching, y'all been ever lovesick or been in love with somebody and it just simply didn't work. How much of a crushing defeat that can be, right? But I feel that's tough. That's tough because the thing is that eventually you'll get over it in time. But he's saying that you'll be better off in debt. And the thing about debt is that it don't necessarily go away just because you forgot about it, you know? So you would think being lovesick or being hurt in love would be better than being in debt. So that's just, again, the comparison. He's saying that it's worse than that. So
you're better off in debt. If it didn't work out, baby, I'll be
real hard to forget.
German whips and private jets, private beaches to access. Fuck on me, baby, I'm still a mess and know that ain't a threat.
So, and then he further goes in and saying, maybe giving reasons as to why. You know, there's a whole bunch of stories, or not stories, we got stories of people who get used to the rich and famous lifestyle, especially if you've come from nothing. So that can also aid into, you know, being really hard to forget because you kind of get used to that lifestyle. And now what, right? Now you got to go back to what you was doing. You always got that thought in your head about what it was.
Private beaches to access. Fuck on me, baby, I'm still a mess and know that ain't a threat. My family, that's great. 5'9". Try and be all I can be and I waste my time. Bring up insanity, I can't make up my mind. Yeah, I battle my vanity and I think I'm blind.
Battle my vanity and I think I'm blind. Blind to his own vanity. It'd be hard. Who's a producer? So, yeah, so One thing that I want to let you guys know is that I am aware that there's a music video and everything, but whenever I'm doing Suicide Boys, you know, I try to do as little as visuals as I can. I want to really focus on the lyrics because I can always go back and watch the video and everything, and who knows, it might even give me a little bit more context. But I find I do my best kind of breakdowns when I have the lyrics in front of me and it's just zero focus. So this is an amazing track. I do want to let you guys know one thing, and I was thinking about this before the video started, but that's titling the song Matte Black. So I want to break that title down just one time for the one time. When we think about matte black, we got to think about the properties of what matte is, right? And the first thing that comes to my mind is matte paint, right? Like what you see matte paint on a car. And what gives it its distinctive look is that matte paint doesn't have any type of reflection, right? It's just, it just absorbs everything, right? And if we think matte black, now think about if you saw a matte black car in the nighttime with no reflections, right? The only thing you can rely on is kind of like the headlights and the tail lights. That'd be very difficult to distinguish, right? You might as well just be blending in on some type of Batman stuff. So with the title being matte black, the first thing I thought of was just a void, right? An endless sucking void. And then we pair the whole entire thing of saying no reflection, which means it's continuously sucking without reflecting on one's actions. Is that a reach? I don't know, but that's just where my head's going. So I appreciate those of you who stayed for the commentary. It's actually what keeps me coming back to the Suicide Boys, because you actually guys stick around and see what I have to say. We might make it through this whole entire album because I like it. We're just going to be doing it one at a time. All right. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.